Hi, I'm Carter. People call me Chipping Paper 21. That's my gamer tag on Xbox. Today I've been invited to talk about the TVP T5051 and its current update. Recently, they have increased, or not increased, more of decreased the reload time on the TVP from 31 seconds to 28 seconds. Now, this is due to the machine, which has the same gun as the TVP, outperforming damage-wise the TVP T5051. So one of the main things I wanted to talk about were the patch notes in the article that the lead designer of World of Tanks Valor had published on this update. So the update is due to the statistics that were collected by the lead designer and his team, stating that the TVP had been performing on average doing 1700 damage per battle, while the machine with the same gun had been doing roughly 1900 damage per battle. This statistic alone shows that the TVP with the same gun is doing less damage than the machine. And this is, in a way, an issue. So, one statistic that they found was that people who had played the TVP T5051 had been losing more often than people who had been playing the machine as well. This is also a fairly big issue, considering the fact that they should be doing fairly similar because of their cannon. It's the same armament, and it should be doing the same amount of damage per battle, or at least close to it. So, with this patch, you could say, they are decreasing the reload on the TVP T5051 back to 28 seconds from 31. Now, in my experience with the TVP T5051, I have had the tank since roughly a month after it was released. Now, when it was released, it was an absolute monster, and I could see why they nerfed it to begin with, since it had a very short time between shots in each magazine, and the reload time was very short. Now, when they nerfed it, it felt very different, just due to the fact that the reload was now a few seconds longer, and it wasn't as much of a laser beam as it used to be. It was essentially ruined, as some people would say, but it still wasn't unplayable. Now, gameplay with the longer reload, it wasn't hard to, you could say, get good gameplay, but it wasn't nearly as easy, and it was also much more challenging. Now, with the shorter reload being implemented back into the game, this really, really makes this tank much, much better. Now, I wouldn't say it's absolutely overpowered as it used to be, just due to the fact that they have changed more than just the reload on the TVP in the past, and now they're just reverting back the reload. It's just a lot better. You can dish out serious damage over the course of a game instead of having to wait. Now, with this decrease in the reload, you are able to actually be a lot more tactically available for your teammates, because this shorter reload allows you to, be able to shoot faster, and that's a good thing. So, with this new, quicker reload, if you had a good crew before, you were doing maybe a 28-second reload, like a high 28, almost 29. And now, if you have a good crew, you can be doing closer to 25. So this shorter reload allows you to be able to move around a lot better for your team and dish out damage where it's needed. And with this availability and speed on the tank in general, it's a lot better. So my experience with this tank is It's a fair amount. I mean, I have about 1,000 battles in the thing, and you know, it's interesting. It's definitely been a different tank. It's a very twitchy tank in a way too. It turns very quickly, and I guess the tank on its own, it's different from others, and that's just really the best way I can explain it. So playing this tank, I've had multiple times with the longer reload where, you know, it's just you get a clip off, you deal, I don't even know, maybe 1,300 damage because, you know, you didn't penetrate a shot and you only got 3 in, and then you're sitting there for almost half a minute and you're not able to do anything. You have to either hide behind your teammates or run away. Now, this is still, it's still prevalent in the tank just due to the fact that it's an autoloader and has a long reload, as is prevalent in many other autoloading tanks. But with the shorter reload, you're able to get back into the fight a lot quicker. And yeah, you know, you can't really like get up in people's faces and expect to not take damage, but you can stay near your teammates and or move around and be, you know, tactical with the tank. Now, this tank, it's fairly decent at spotting. It has 96 spotting in the game, and with that spotting range, you're able to get a lot of assisted damage also, but at the same time, you know, it's spread out between others. So with this tank's damage output being around 1,600 for a full clip, the spotting range on it also helps a lot with that. And to be able to mark the tank on its own, you have to deal roughly like 3,500 damage in a couple hundred battles, and that's fairly high for a lot of tanks. And this tank on its own, like with the faster reload, I can only imagine what that's going to go up to now. But I have noticed that with the shorter reload, you are able to dish out a lot more damage when, you know, you're in the middle of a game and you're moving around. But with the longer reload at almost 30 seconds when you had a good crew, it was much more difficult. Even though it's only a few seconds, it means a lot. And with the tank now being buffed to potentially be able to make it better and make the cannon closer to the machine so that the tanks are, you know, more comparable with the same gun, it really helps the tank. And it's, you know, I guess in its own way, it's making it better. So in the end, I feel Wargaming is on the right track with this one, and them decreasing the reload back down to roughly 28 as it used to be in the beginning, it's on the right track, and it makes me very happy to see this tank be, you know, closer to what it originally was, and it becoming better than it, you know, it has been playing in the last couple months. And seeing it, you know, perform better and being able to compete against many of the other tanks like it used to, it makes me happy. And in all, I'm glad they're doing it. So after listening to this video, I'd like to ask, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave comments if you liked the video. And I would again like to thank my good friend Durderpii here, who I've known for quite some time, for inviting me on the show to talk about the TVP T5051. Thanks.